So back to Todd Howard. He made Fallout 3. And so I found this online. He has lots and lots of interviews online. He says, define it, the game, meaning the game, by the experience you want people to have. And I think that's a better definition of art that he's come up with, that he's not really aware of, that fits his work more fully.
Our American way of life, isn't it grand? Peace, freedom, and bacon and eggs. Seems perfect. But what if it's not? Friends, your future may not be as secure as you think. Where will you be when the atomic bombs fall? You can secure your family's future by reserving a spot in a state-of-the-art underground vault from Vault-Tec. That's right, Bob. Act now, and your family can wait out the horrors of nuclear devastation. And Doris, the vault will have all the amenities of your modern-day home, and it's attractive. And Sally, in the vault, you might meet that special someone, just as you would on the surface. And in a few short years, you and your fellow vault dwellers will repopulate our great country. And Billy, you'll have lots of swell kids to play with. Reserve your family spot in a state-of-the-art underground vault today. Sign up now and prepare for the future.
I love those dear hearts and gentle people who live in my hometown. Because those dear hearts and gentle people will never ever let you down.
I find the juxtaposition of that music with the actual gameplay to be inspired. Right? It's an extremely violent game. So the premise is, why are we still fighting? There's a little, I won't play this whole thing, but you need to experience this a little bit more. They do take that music all the way through the gameplay. There's the music.
Oh, shit!
So you get the point. They do need to fully explore this. I don't think they have, but the premise is there. There's something there to work with. Okay, so I have a spoiler alert coming up, so I just wanted to let you know. I'm going to reveal the ending of The Suffering. So if you haven't played it and you want to, you need to cover your ears right now. Right? So Richard Rouse, the third, is a tremendous game designer, and he did The Suffering. And he also did a talk at the Game Developer Conference this past year called "The 7 Ways a Game Can Be Moral." And at the end of the suffering, depending on what it is you've done within the game, there are 3 different endings that you can end up with. Okay? A good ending, kind of a medium ending, and a bad ending, depending on your choices, your moral choices within the game. And so, in the game, you are a convict that's put on death row, and then something has happened, and everyone escapes, and the prison has been decimated, basically. But all of the ways that you can be killed on death row become monsters that you then fight. Okay, and you're also fighting the demons from your childhood. The main character was abused, and so depending on his choices, the choices you make for him, the 3 different endings can happen.
Something dark and unspeakable left you deeply scarred. Farther than you ever could have imagined. The familiar streets of Baltimore are stained with the blood of the suffering. Your path draws you home to find the true source of the evil. Ultimately, you must make the choice between right and wrong. But sometimes even the strongest will is not enough to hold back the demons inside. Suffering Ties That Bind, coming fall 2005. This title is not yet rated.
So I believe that this guy, even if he won't admit it, is an artist, and a really good one. He is exploring morality within the game medium and creating works of art. And by the way, he is going to come to speak at Mesa Community College on November 14th. So watch the StudioForGamingInnovation.com website for the details on that if you're interested. Also at the GDC in his talk, he made the proposal that the Grapes of Wrath could be an Xbox 360 game. And he said, it'd be hard as hell to do, but I think it'd be totally worth it. And I would totally agree with him. I think it would be amazing to have the Grapes of Wrath as a video game. So I hope he does it. Okay, so the next people I'm going to introduce you to is Tale of Tales. And on their website, they say their mission is to create elegant and emotionally rich interactive entertainment. Okay? And so this is one of their pieces called Graveyard. It doesn't seem to be playing. Anyways, the Graveyard is a game that you play this old woman, and she walks into the graveyard, and she sits there and reminisces, and that's pretty much all the gameplay. And that's for the free version, and if you buy it for $5, she dies. So that's the whole game, all right? I really think that their definition that they have posted on their website doesn't quite fit that. I really think that they are really trying to speak to the human condition with their work. And if you look at the other games that they produced, I think that that's what they're doing. So they're not quite aware of what it is they're going after. Okay. Kelly Santiago, she created quite an uproar when she responded to Roger Ebert saying games can never be art. And so this is her a piece of her TED Talk.
Found, which is art is the process or product of deliberately arranging elements in a way that appeals to the senses or the emotions.
Okay, so I had to stop here for a moment. There has not been a great artist on the face of the planet ever, before or now or in the future, who would ever admit to getting their definition of art from Wikipedia, right? So there's a problem here. She's not thinking critically for herself. Okay, she continues though. She kind of
find
redeems herself.
resonance between this quote and actually Robert McKee's quote on definition. When he defines the difference between good writing and bad writing. And he defines good writing as being motivated to touch the audience. And so in my layman's term, I would say art is a way of communicating ideas to an audience in a way that the audience finds engaging.
Okay, so her definition is to engage the audience. I think that's a definition of entertainment, not really of art. So I disagree with her, but I like the work that she does, right? So I went to their website, and the company that she has is called That Game Company. So if you go to thatgamecompany.com, it says that they are designing and developing artistically crafted, broadly accessible video games. All right. So that made me take pause. And I remembered this old lesson from this guy. His name is Arnold Meneken. He's a photographer. And if it looks like art, it isn't. Okay? So they're creating things that look like art, admittedly. And they have no idea that what they're admitting to, because they wouldn't put it out there in public if they knew what they were talking about, right? So Arnold Meneken, he has an interesting story. He's a photographer, and basically when he was born, he had a cleft palate, right? And when he got to be in college, he was tired of being ostracized and pushed aside, and he said, I'm going to go and ask out the prettiest girl in school, okay? So he did, and she said no. So it's okay, I'm going to ask out the second prettiest girl in school, right? And she said yes. And they've actually been married for about 35 years. And so he's done a whole series of work that explores what is beauty, and body image, and what does that mean? And so this is actually one of his more iconic images. This is his self-portrait. He puts himself in all of his own photographs. And they're really beautiful, beautiful photographs. So he has another lesson that I think I want to bring in here. If you're going to make great art, you need to be aware of what your demons are and embrace them, because that is what you need to be exploring, right? So I really like Kelly Santiago. I really like the games that they make. So I dug a little bit deeper, and I found this. Shannon Santiago pitched Cloud, which is an earlier game, to Sony representative John Haidt as the first game in the Zen genre. So really what they're doing, and full disclosure here, I got this little snippet from Wikipedia. They're really beginning to flesh out a whole new genre, and they need to embrace that and push it forward. So right now, when they're talking about their work, they are shifting around as if they don't know what it's about, like a sophomore who doesn't quite understand what their work is about. So they have one definition one day and another definition another day, and you have to say, hey, wait a minute, nail it down. What are you about? And so that's where they're at in their development as an artistic group, basically, in my opinion.